Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Serena. Last week I talked about trauma, especially childhood trauma. So today I'm gonna recap that. And so I got a piece of notes here. So how trauma related to all diseases, including cancers, MS, autoimmune disorder, ADHD, and depression. And so in Gabel's work, he said most cancers, most autoimmune disease, and most nerve degenerative patients have significant childhood traumas. And so, based on the childhood traumas lead to a certain behavior and emotional pattern, then those emotional pattern or problems causing stress in their life. So, for example, some people are being so nice and super nice all the time to other and supporting others' emotional needs and never get angry by suppressing their own emotion. So when we suppressing our own emotion, we are suppressing our own immune system. Just because our emotional function cannot separate it from our physiological function, and because the brain centers the emotion that are connected with our immune system, our digestive system, and our nervous system. So that's his work, how he tie in with trauma and traumas and all the diseases. And so the next topic I'll be talking about the addiction. And so I also using his works for reference. And in his work, all addictive behavior can um, trace back to childhood trauma. And this is what he said. What Not everyone traumatized become addicted, but everyone addicted was traumatized. And so when I was thinking of my childhood, when I was 10, my dad left Vietnam to migrate to Canada. And so me and my mom were left behind, and we were living there for another 3 years. And we are also leaving the country that I know, the place that I know the best. And we immigrated to Canada as well 3 years after my dad came here. So we reunited with my dad and my biological brother. So of course I needed to adapt to the new country. I need to learn a new language. I need to go to a new school and make some new friends, and having the weird food and the weather. The weather was in Vietnam, it was plus 36 to 40 year round. And in here, most of the time we get that, but it's a minus. So it was a big change. And I have moved into a new environment, and I seems like I have a complete new life. So everything changes, but except one thing that didn't change was my family dynamic. And so I continue to behave in such a way to please my parents and suppressing my negative emotions and only display the good side of me. So I continue to do well to school and to be stands out, to be able to stand out amongst my brother and sister. And so when I turned 18, my dad and my mom officially separated, and I was sad, but I didn't understand why. I didn't understand why they have to be separated. I never asked my dad or my mom, and um, but then the need to continue to prove to my parents, or I'm worth it, I'm worth your love, and that kind of need was continue. And so I was suffering without even realizing that I need to validate myself through my parents. And that was my world. So I thought when I turned 18, the year that my mom and my dad was separated, that was traumatized me. But little that I know, my world was already shaped in my early childhood, because I was constantly behaving in that way to please my dad or to be recognized more from him. So of course I cannot blame my parents. They have done their best, and they didn't know better. Also, they already have their own stress and their own issues to deal with. So um, when after I turned 18, I started to noticing a little bit of the traits of addiction. So when we mention about addiction, we usually very typical thinking of substances like drugs or alcohol. But in fact, Dr. Gabor definition of addiction, it is manifest in any behavior that a person craves and find temporary pleasure or relief, but experiencing negative consequences in long term and inability to give up. So, which including shopping, social media, video games, gambling, works, substances like drugs, success, sex, alcohol, exercise, food, nicotine, caffeine, or even hoarding of objects. So of course, I have a few of those addiction that comes and goes, and sometimes addictions can move from one to another, and sometimes we can have more than one. So he also further explained that addiction is not a choice, it's not a genetic, and it's a survival mechanism, and it's adaptation. So everyone, nobody chosen to be that way. Nobody's ambition wanted to be an addict when they grow up, and that is very true. And however, the society view that it's a conscious choice, and therefore they punish. They need to be punished. But in fact, those one who are most the vulnerable group, and those one who are needed to help the most. And addiction, it's a self-soothing. If you're looking from that perspective, then addiction is self-soothing and or self-medicate to escape reality because of the conscious mind is suffering and it's painful. So every time when he treated patients with addiction, he doesn't ask why the addiction. He instead it's why the pain. And so when I think it was one of his example, but I'm not 100% for sure. So this is the scenario that there's a group of Toronto police. They raided a house or a location, and they found a few children inside. And those people were child trafficking. And so the children was finally safe and saved by the police. But the trauma has been done. And those little victims will go up with the pain if they don't have the proper therapy or to deal with that during that time. Whereas they growing up, they will carry the pain and they will most likely to have a higher chance become an addict because they need to escape the pain. Then the society will criminalize them and to punish them, to put them in jail if they use any substances in the future. So every time when I imagine this scenario, I always get emotional because I could literally seeing that picture in my head. And that was really shocking, and it shook me. And so addiction is a huge topic. I don't think I can express or explain well enough. So for more information, please go to Gabor's work. Like I said, he's on YouTube and it's free. Or you can read one of his books. So his book is not free, but it's not expensive. That book called The Realm of the Hungry Ghost, and that one's it's all about addiction. And so next time I'll explain or I'll let you know how my addictions made me sick. And so once again, thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye now.